average, right? That's not like a hot take.
Who is rooting for people to commit suicide? Okay. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Debate board, if you want to make the case,
hold on.
Debate board, if you want to make the case that the people that are doing this are like a vocal minority and you denounce those people, we can totally have that argument. But in the same way that I can admit there are like some crazies on the left that are like super anti-Semitic, but say not all the left is anti-Semitic, you need to be willing to say that like if you're on the internet and someone's making a 43% joke, like a betting man is going to say that person's probably on the right.
That 43% jokes don't exist. You made that up. It's a liberal lie.
This is gross.
Well, like 13% of the population.
No. Come on, you need to engage with that.
There's probably honest arguments on both sides. We probably don't have to strawman the ever living fuck out of like.
Everybody shut up.
Who said all conservatives?
Echo chamber. Come on now.
Well, like why even bring up the most extreme arguments? I don't think anybody agrees.
Because they're being made.
Who on this panel is making? Wait. Who on this panel is making the argument that like all trans people should commit suicide?
Somebody on this panel is making the argument that nobody makes that argument.
Wait, why would we talk about the types of arguments that some people on the internet make? Why not just like
because they're permeant in society? Because these arguments, if somebody's making them, it's the case that there's at least some.
This is why. This is why you guys suck shit.
Only argument that debate board has.
Destiny, go ahead.
It's such a dog shit conversation. Like, why not actually talk about the topic rather than finding the most strawman, ridiculous, stupid, like troll versions of arguments online?
Nobody's being strawman.
Screaming about that. It's a dumb argument. Nobody here thinks that trans people should be killing themselves. Like, a lot of conservatives would probably say, like, yeah, you shouldn't tell trans people to kill themselves. So why have?
So somebody's saying that the issue, Destiny, is not nobody's. Nobody on the panel so far. I don't think anybody on the panel said that all conservatives think this. The issue is somebody who's a conservative on the panel said that no conservatives think this.
Well, hold on,
That's the real issue.
Hold on, stop. Don't strawman him. I doubt he said that no conservative thinks this. He's probably saying.
Yes, he did. He verbatim said that. You put it run it back. Debate board did. Debate board did. You run the VOD back and then like figure out your position first.
I'm gonna hold on. Let's use our brains a little bit. My guess is probably, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, that not all conservative people think this. If there are people saying this online, yeah, they're probably more likely to be conservative, but the mainstream conservative argument is not that all trans people should go commit suicide.
Nobody said that it was.
Then why talk about it?
You could go run the VOD and just listen. Debate board. No, it's not the case. The debate board said that like there is not all conservative or something who said this. Debate board made the claim that nobody is doing this. When somebody mentioned there are some people making 43% jokes, debate board said no, nobody's doing this. He pushed really hard against this.
Let's hear from
floating hyperbolic, but that's what you said verbatim.
I just don't know why you would wait.
You can't tell me you never hear.
Just give him cut him some slack.
It's absurd. It's an absurd caricature that you guys do with each other as you circle jerk in your little panel here, your little echo chamber here, and nod your heads and root with one another on it. And it's bullshit.
You might
find we got an intellectual.
Let him finish. Debate board, go ahead, please. That says something stupid, and now you say, "Oh yeah, and, conservatives most likely are going to root for trans people, to commit suicide." They don't really have an argument here, and this is the only thing they bring up because, otherwise they just want trans people to commit suicide. That's how you guys are talking, and it's absolutely
nobody said any of that.
Nobody said that.
It's funny. It's funny. We're the ones being accused of strawmanning, but debate board just came in and strawmanned every single person left of him on the panel. Debate board, can I ask you really quick? Debate board. Do you think it's the case, just an olive branch, just so we know your position, do you think it's the case that there are no conservatives whatsoever making trans suicide making trans suicide jokes, pushing trans people to suicide, or telling trans people they should commit suicide? None of them. 0%.
I don't know. I literally.
The answer is yes. There are people doing that. Come on, debate.
You can't even grant
that.
Really?
Everyone's seen it. Anyone who's been in any transphobic space for like more than 3 seconds.
I'm not terminally online. I don't know the.
I've seen it in real life.
I don't know. You spend a lot of time in this Twitch channel, man.
Have you never seen trans harassment in real life? Do you have no clue what it looks like?
Yeah, maybe there is some idiot conservative out there, or idiot right-wing person, or just general idiot who has said something stupid about trans people. However, conservatives talking about trans women competing in sports against other women, they're not making the argument because they just can't figure out any other argument. Oh my goodness, we just last week we were talking about trans women, and we were talking on Prime's panel, and there were conservatives on the panel, or right-leaning people on the panel, talking about hormone blockers and pediatric trans surgery. So what do you mean conservatives?
Oh, the thing that doesn't happen.
I can clarify.
Right.
Come on.
You love bringing that up. You love it.
Debateboard, if I can re-clarify my position, I've originally brought it up, and I can apologize if you felt like I mischaracterized conservatives. The point that I was trying to originally make is that I think part of the reason why conservative talking points on transgender issues oftentimes make their way to the issue of trans women in sports is that I think that argument, even though I disagree with it, is frankly a lot better than a lot of the other arguments or typical points that get bandied about by conservatives. And I think that if you look at those points, you can make a fair enough assessment that not only are a decent number of these, shall we say, transphobic, and we could say that not all conservatives are transphobic, certainly not all of them want suicide, that a lot of these arguments are probably going to lead to a world where there's probably more trans suicide. When we talk about like dead naming people or giving them health care, these are a lot harder arguments for conservatives to win because there's a lot more empirical data where it says these things help save people, trans people, from committing suicide. And that's not necessarily the case with trans sports. That's all
Rather than like hyper fixating on trying to figure out like what the motivation is for an argument or something, why not just like dismantle the actual argument? And then if you think that somebody's being transphobic, like, call out the transphobic.
Like I moved the topic here.
It's because we were
talking about. We're literally having a discussion here, and your one response is, "How about you guys just dismantle the argument?" Like, do you realize how
because the second I came in, you guys are saying shit like conservatives want trans people to kill themselves, and then you guys got into like this weird side.
Okay,
we're
just having a non-conversation right now. My line of logic here. Let me walk you through my line of logic here. Is there going to be a predominance on which side of the political aisle for people who want trans people or are more in favor or more likely to be transphobic and more likely lead to these consequences? And if so, which side is it?
Who cares?
Come on.
The reason we were talking about this
answer the question, Steve.
Well, it's probably going to be conservatives are more likely to be anti-trans, but what does that have to do with...
There he is. He said it. He got it out.
Wait, what? Wait, do you think that's like a concession?
Who's more likely to make the arguments on behalf of trans suicidality? Who's more likely to crack the 43% jokes?
I don't even know it, but my guess would probably be conservatives.
Yeah, you do know. Like, we can list numerous examples.
Alan, we already know this.
What is the point of this conversation?
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, of course, I know this. Like, who's more likely to, say that, there's a million things that we could characterize from either political side. I don't know how that gets us any further in the conversation topic.
Okay, enough.
We're just taking pod shots.
Let's get back to
just dismantle the argument.
Substantial discussion.
We're doing that. We're talking about the issue. It's all encompassing.
We're not really talking about the issue. We're just
I don't think it's crazy to say
you're trying to hand wave what could be like legitimate criticism over a topic by just screaming transphobe to everybody.
No, nobody's done that. No, we talked about we talked in depth about the topic.
Shitty Twitter post earlier today, so we could talk about that too, which is basically this.
You mean every Twitter post?
Specifically, Destiny.
You're on board. Just catch up a little.
Hold on, no, this is really important context. We had been having a discussion. We were about to move the discussion. Prime K's wanted to stay on the general discussion, but he specifically wanted to talk about why this discussion was so pervasive. So we were giving reasons why it was culturally pervasive. That's why we were talking about people's attitudes towards the topic. It was incredibly relevant to the conversation we were having. Coming in and saying, like, this massive straw man that all conservatives want, blah, blah, blah. No, we were just saying that there are conservatives who are transphobic, and this is a problem.
Okay.
No, but
if that was what was said, if that only what was said, that would be great, but that wasn't the case at all. Instead, what we heard was that this absurd caricature that conservatives, there was no qualification, conservatives want to see more trans suicides or root for more trans people to commit suicide. It's an absurd caricature, and you guys focus.
There are absolutely these people. Have you never seen trans harassment in the real world? What are you talking about?
There's women harassment, there's male harassment, there's harassment.
God damn, I must be meeting a caricature every day.
What? Do you not think harassment's a problem? I agree, but do you don't think that
conservatives the way that Flo did?
But there are conservatives who are harassing trans people by telling them to kill themselves, by circle jerking their transphobic friends, by saying, "I hope they all fucking kill themselves." This is a self-solving problem, right? How often do you hear that? It's a self-solving problem.
Even if we don't apply intent, right? Like, which party is putting policies that will emotionally and economically and maybe even physically damage trans individuals? Like, which side of the aisle is actually putting that forward? We don't take
right now. It seems like both of them. Right now, both of them kind of are.
both.
I think that the trans athlete stuff. I think the trans athlete shit is going to do a lot to like foster a lot of really bad will against like trans people in general. I think it's a really good turf argument for